on tonight.
You know it's on Sundays?
No, it's on Sunday.
Walking Dead's back.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I was about to say someone's trying to shine some keys, but all of a sudden I hear Walking Dead, and now I don't know what. So.
Yeah. So we're turning it back over to the Director of Public Works. He's going to very quickly wrap up sewer and water.
Can I just
Just
as a normal aside, can we really give some thought into moving
Wrap
this space?
Yeah, I can move it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, over
Even
time,
over
it's
there.
tried, I don't know why it ended up being on that. Yeah, just put a diagonal across the corner, kind of from the edge of the window casing
Yeah, we can go
over.
I have a screen that's got a stand.
Oh, I hate those ones though, because then people move around in that.
I can just stand with the screen.
Well, that works. Just wear a white shirt.
Get the bed sheet.
Yeah, but that's one
We turned about the same one size.
So phase 3 sewer.
Okay.
Instructor.
Here.
Let's go.
Just keep go for it. I heard sewer.
Okay, phase 3 sewer in hopefully, I guess, 2016. We'll see how that works out. 2/3 grant, 1/3 debt, as mentioned earlier, I think. Basically, we look at the design and tender and construction of phase 3 sewer collection system. This is not going to happen within 2016. We'll be lucky if we get the design done in 2016. Plus, we'll end up having to look at all the easements, backyard easements and stuff like that. That won't carry forward. We're probably looking at a 3-year process in total because it is a large project.
When will they be announcing who?
I'm not sure. April 28th is the deadline, so we started work on the application now. So.
At the early end, they got some information on a grant application that they had done, looking to adjust it, similar to like what we happened to us in phase 2. But they got that like last week. So I'm not sure what intake timing that was, but anyway.
Well, the original application basically was still down there, and we can adjust that.
Oh, okay.
What we're doing is just starting a new sheet, basically going from there. We're using the same stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of same comments and stuff like that. It's cut and paste.
Okay.
But there is more detail to a lot of the comments that we're making.
And the author of the letter was Glenn Brown. So,
He's always the author of the letter.
yes. I like it. I think it's weird.
Okay. The 2017 Alls Road Reservoir Design. Is that the next one?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah, the design. Basically, this was the goal for last year, but we moved it forward to 2017 because we're in discussions with the foothills. They have to actually build a reservoir. So, Brad, I don't know if you can talk about that.
Sure. So part of the rules of, them getting a PLA is they've made some verbal commitments, and part of my role as a subdivision improvement officer is to look after the best interest of the developer. And so one of the requirements of the PLA would be to provide a reservoir, full stop. So that takes care of the $1 million in 2018 because that would be the responsible of the developer to pay for it.
Councilor Colson?
So last year, collapse of the reservoir sounded imminent. That's why council approved $100,000 to study it. At what point did that stop, that process?
Basically, when the foothills committed that they were going to build one. We've waited 14 years now. 1 year is not going to...
It's very different feedback than what was given last year. And they had the same schedule in front of them last year. Another question, was any of that $100,000 spent in an engineering phase?
Not for design of the reservoir.
So is this the only reservoir going up on the foothills?
My understanding is there would be a second one that would go up higher, which would support their water system. Yeah.
So what is the size of the one we're asking them to build?
1 million gallons, or 1 million gallons.
Okay, and what's the size of the second one?
500,000, wasn't it?
And they're building it so that there's no real detail on it yet. Basically, they'll have to build it to what our recommendation is for fire flows for the whole district.
The second one?
No, the first one.
Okay.
Which one? That's the one that we would be tying into with the new line. And then on the top of the I guess top reservoir, they're going to be looking at doing another one up there, but they only need a certain amount at this time.
Yeah.
They're going to build it so that they can add on for future phases.
So this one, the million one they're gonna build so they can add on?
No. Million gallon one is going to be specifically for the district of Lansville.
And that's when you're requiring them to build under the
Under the
PLA.
PLA,
So, can we at some point in time get how this water thing is all gonna work between foothills, projects? Like, I'm just trying to, you mentioned the third water zone, and I just don't know how it all fits, especially with the Nanaimo water agreement.
Well, and that's the problem that we're having right now is where is the Nanaimo water agreement sitting?
Yeah.
Because that dictates on what we do.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that is a bit of a staff struggle is if council, we've got strategic priorities that, staff, and we use the air quotes here, fixes the Nanaimo water agreement. So we do that, we've got revisions to it, then, okay, the next step, therefore, logically, for the fixes to move it forward. Well, that's why we've got the Nanaimo water connection money there, is because that's our understanding is you wouldn't have us fix it if you didn't want us to go forward. So based on that, how does that water thing play out? Now, if we're not, then that changes how water flows.
exactly. If you don't change the Nanaimo agreement to the way you guys want it, then we're going to have to start looking at the third phase, the third pressure zone that we can look at replacing the Alls Road Reservoir itself with the same size reservoir because it's a really small area that you have to service. And we'll be servicing that with water from the district well field.
It's a whole legal issue.
Well, yeah, that's something that you guys, it's a different issue from a technical point of view.
Yeah.
What I look at is that if you get your Nanaimo water agreement fixed according to what you want, then the third phase doesn't happen.
Right.
We can do it all from the one tank. But if you can't get it fixed, then we look at making a third phase if and when we need that water from Nanaimo.
So, just one more question, sorry. So, what if they don't want to do this, pay for this reservoir?
Again, it's a requirement under the PLA.
But it's not in the original development agreement.
Well, the development agreement is not in. This is one of the struggles that we've had with discussions, and so we're operating on what's called good faith, and they have indicated that this is what they will do. This is what they require. We've indicated we want it on paper. I've been really blunt with them. It goes on paper. Mr. Holland's heard me. Aller's heard me. There's no gray area with this. So they've indicated that yes, we will provide this reservoir. They've said this to myself and the director several times. So we put it in the PLA. Regardless of whether it holds or not, the fact is they have committed to this and now it's a requirement. If they don't fulfill it, well, then they haven't fulfilled the PLA.
Okay, and then, sorry, just one last question. So, given this is going to take time, are we going to still do work on the other reservoir, on Bob's Reservoir, as I call it? We have to do work on that one?
It's difficult. It's either we fully replace it. If we don't have the connection to the Nanaimo the way you guys want it, it'll have to be replaced, probably with a metal tank the same size, maybe even smaller if we can sneak it down that small. But if you guys get what you want, we can annihilate that tank. So it would be a huge waste of money to put it in there, and you guys end up getting what you want through the Nanaimo connection. That tank becomes useless to us. So it's one of those things where we're kind of sitting and just waiting for this Nanaimo connection one way or the other, and that'll give us an indication of our.
And so this is where staff, and I know I'm going to hijack this a bit, but this is where staff made the comment about putting the two, the water task force and the other piece together in one, which is the conversation we just had, was essentially figuring out how water can flow. And staff can tell you how water can flow given the direction you give staff. That's kind of how we can lay this out, and we have the information to provide this to the committee and kind of make the water task force about that. The technical details is not the issue. It's simply who gets it first, how they get it, when they get it. That's the issue. And so that's what staff's comments were, just combine the two together. This kind of takes care of this. And the third zone, trite here by any means, but we drew it out in 96 hours, me being your CAO. It's not hard. We did that. So it just comes down to looking for that direction, which is why we earmarked the non water interconnection of $750,000 based on council's strategic plan that you said you want this. Now, if it doesn't go through, it doesn't go the way the council wishes, then NONMA rejects it, whatever they do, changes their game plan. Okay, what's next? And then we provide the council with new options in regards to where we go water, or how we do it.
Just a simple question. In scale, this one is, proposed reservoir, 1 million gallons? Remind me how many gallons the railroad one is.
I think it's like 52,000.
Which are you? The concrete one? The New York one?
Sorry, the new one.
It's 400.
Oh, the new one on where? Oh, sorry, yeah, that's 400 cubic meters.
Sorry?
400,000 gallons.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, because you got to be consistent.
Million.
Go imperial.
1 million liters is what it is.
Okay, okay, versus 1 million gallons.
Big difference.
Yeah, okay. Okay. And
It's
I
gonna
didn't
be
recognize
like-
it was meant to serve like north and south and all that kind of stuff
Exactly.
because of the elevation.
Yeah, and that was
So it's a simple question.
that was identified in the course report, the sizing that would be required. So.
Okay, thanks.
So those answers take care of the first three pieces on the water funding piece that we can pull up in Illinois. And that's, you've already authorized as well 6. We're already moving ahead on that. Staff is working ahead. And then I'm a water interconnection, which again, you believe is part and parcel of the council as those pieces fall in place. So we look at the water main replacement for Peterson Road, unless some questions.
So the replacement of a section of 300 meters of 150 millimeter asbestos cement water main along Peterson Road between Lynn and Lansing Road. This is what I spoke about earlier when I was talking about the asphalt replacement. That one was.
Peterson Road house.
Yeah, this portion is Lanceville Road, from Peterson Road to Huddlestone Road, and that's in 2018. Basically, it implements some of the workings of the core study for increases fire flow to the downtown core. Where that came from? Uh-oh.
There's just 2 left because council's already
Yeah.
approved the 2016 year. So it's just the 425,000 in 2019 for the water main replacement for Mart Road and Industrial Road, if there's anything you wanted to add for that. And then there's 300,000 in 2020 for Joyway, and I'm going to say that wrong, Royce Roster? Way line replacement. Add
And that's
anything to
it.
either of those guys? Ben?
Councilor Colbach.
Just roughly speaking, after all of that, how much asbestos and then pipe is left?
It's well over half.
20 odd kilometers. About 20 odd kilometers.
Yeah. There's a lot of asbestos pipes.
We good?
Will we adjourn?